this week on Cruisin' New England. Hundreds of Cadillacs and LaSalles made their way to Boston for some automotive history. This episode, the best of the West, North, South, and East too. I'm Paul Manette, and I want to welcome you to another episode of Cruisin' New England. Today we're in Boston, Massachusetts for the Cadillac LaSalle Club Grand National Meet. We're going to meet up with some of the finest cars in the country. All this and more on Cruisin' New England. All my life, I've been cruising New England, meeting great people, visiting amazing places, and discovering wonderful classic and custom car collections, nostalgic automobilia, and so much more. Come on and join our adventure. I'm Paul Manette. Let's go cruising. Closed captioning for Cruisin' New England on Nesson is being brought to you by New England Recycling. Waste put to work. Cash for Gold, the place to sell your unwanted gold and diamonds. Where you sell your jewelry is as important as where you buy it. We at Cash for Gold are gold and diamond specialists. We will buy all size diamonds, gold chains, rings, bracelets, silver coins, and even broken jewelry. Often we pay 2 to 3 times higher than pawn shop prices. We also pay up to 90% of the daily price of both diamonds and gold. We are the original, authentic, family-run Cash for Gold and have been for over 35 years. Visit us at 527 South Broadway, Route 28 in Salem, New Hampshire.
Your special moments are something to remember. For weddings, portraits, and special events, contact Sparks Fly Photography.
Hi, I'm Jerry from Auto Rust Technicians. We've been welding and sandblasting and undercoating cars for over 35 years. If you got those problems, give us a call.
Hi, I'm Jim Grundy, your expert for old car insurance. For 3 generations, my family's been insuring old cars. And that means we know what you need. And that's agreed value coverage. Agreed value means in the event of a claim, you get the full value that you've insured your car for. No depreciation, no deductibles, and no hassles. For the best coverage and greatest rates, call or visit us online for a quote on your collector car.
I'm Dick Shappy and deal in the finest classic motor cars, cycles, and vintage parts to collectors all over the world. But we're right here in New England. Vintage cars are like vintage wine. Both get better with proper care and time. I offer a luxury experience that's by appointment only. So check out my website, classiccars.ws, or call me at 401-521-5333 to find your personal piece of history.
We're back, and I'm in Boston, Massachusetts for the Cadillac LaSalle Club Grand National Meet. I'm here with Chris Milici, and he's going to tell us about the show.
All right, Paul. This is the 2013 Cadillac LaSalle Club Grand National. We're here at the Boston Marriott Quincy Hotel, and the New England Region Cadillac LaSalle Club is the host this year.
What can we expect to see here at the show?
Well, this is an annual show of the Cadillac LaSalle Club. It moves around the country every year, and so today you can expect to see over 300 antique Cadillac and LaSalle automobiles from all over the country.
In all eras, too.
That's right, from 1924 right up to 2012.
Well, Chris, I can't wait to get started. What do you say we get going?
Great, let's go. Paul, I'd like you to meet Mike Goldblatt from Norwich, Connecticut.
Mike, nice to meet you.
Well,
I understand you have the oldest entry in today's show.
yes. It's a 1926 Cadillac Sport Phaeton with custom coachwork by Fisher Body Company.
Now, when you obtained this car, did it look like this?
No, it was in pieces. The parts of it were missing. The back was incomplete. It wasn't running. The motor was out. Some of it was together, but a lot of it was apart. It was missing a bunch of parts. And 25 years later, it's almost together.
What makes this car so beautiful? So, tell us about the body style.
Well, in 1926, Cadillac went with this body style, which featured the pronounced moldings along the body, which you can see in the light blue. And in the open cars, they were quite Art Deco in their styling, and it was really the first Art Deco style car for Cadillac, and one of the first in the industry. I think Cadillac set the styling standard in '26 with this car.
Mike, tell us a little bit about the interior.
It's a leather interior. The door panels are leather. Everything is leather. All hand sewn in the day. The seats are pleated, very nicely done, and very attractive.
Mike, thanks for sharing the car with us here today. It's a
My
beautiful
pleasure.
automobile.
Thank you very much.
Chris, what do we got next?
Come on, I'll take you to it.
Okay, let's go.
Paul, let's meet Dick Shappy from
Dick
Walker
Shappy
Island.
we know each other, don't we? Mr. Cadillac himself, right? Very good. Hey, boy, what a beautiful car. I think I saw this one earlier in its stages.
You remember what you called this when you walked by?
I do.
You walked by, you said, what's this, Santa's sled?
Yeah, well, it doesn't look like...
Watch one day, we'll get it done. Here it is, it's done.
Well, it doesn't look like Santa's sled
Not
anymore.
anymore.
So what'd you do with it, Dick?
Well, we did a full restoration. This actually wasn't a restoration, this was a resurrection. I mean, this thing was just a pile of rubble when we got it, and that's what I pride myself in doing. Get these old relics and make them new again, you know.
Well, that's the whole idea of things, is to preserve history, right?
It's a piece of history that was almost lost in time, and I went and resurrected, and here it is. It'll be here forever. It'll outlive me, that's for sure.
So let's talk about the car itself. Tell us some of the features.
Well, it's a 1930 Cadillac. It's model 452A. 452As were made in 16-cylinder cars from 1930 to 1931. And the first years they made them, and they made like over 3,000 of them in 30 to 31. This is a model 4380. They made 258 of these.
You know what's interesting is a timetable on something like this. How long did it take you to restore this?
This one we did quicker than most of them. This one took 3 years. Again, it was really a chore because everything was missing.
Do an overall description of the vehicle for us, from the front right to the back.
Well, it's a 16-cylinder car, which makes it unique to, it's a much longer car than the other models. This is a 148-inch wheelbase. 1932 they went to 149, which, I mean, if you take this body off and look at this chassis, it looks like a bus. I mean, this thing is so long and just so beautiful. 16 cylinders, it's 452 cubic inch, which works out to about 265 horsepower. The Cadillac in the 30s were they took a lot of pride in the way they built the cars. Even the engine compartment, for example, it's a thing of beauty. I mean, if you look in there, you don't see wires, and you just see a bunch of beauty in there. I mean, Cadillac was on top of the game in the 30s, well, forever. I mean, they set the standard of the world, but in the 30s, they were really on top of the game when they built these.
This is a beautiful automobile. What would somebody expect to pay for something like this, completely restored?
This car, if we were to sell this car, the price tag on this would be $450,000. Some are going for more, some less, but it's in that neighborhood.
When I see Dick Shappy, I always expect the best, and you've done it again.
Well, thanks, man. Nice seeing you, too.
Paul, I'd like to introduce you to our lovely flapper girls.
Oh, they certainly are lovely. A lot more Cruisin' New England when we come back.
Order a bunch of parts to get ready for the car show this weekend?
And I got a hot deal, too.
You think? Think again.
Oh, man.
Tired of back orders? You need NPD. With 4 strategically located superstores, orders are shipped direct to your door within 1 to 3 business days. National Parts Depot has quality restoration parts for Ford Truck, Mustang, Camaro, Chevelle, and Firebird. For your free catalog, visit NPD online or call toll-free.
Find out what's happening. Get up-to-date information as I travel throughout New England and beyond. To get exclusive information and behind-the-scenes photos, join me on Facebook.
I'm Paul Minette of Cruisin' New England at McMulkin Chevrolet. McMulkin has shipments arriving weekly of the new C7 Corvette.
People from all over the country buy their Corvettes from McMulkin Chevrolet to get the highest level of value and service.
McMulkin Chevrolet always has over 250 Corvettes in stock in their 3-story climate-controlled building. Remember, all roads lead to McMulkin Chevrolet. Check them out at McMulkin.net.
The Thompson Auto Group.
When September comes, the party begins. Cruise on over to the Big E in West Springfield, Massachusetts, September the 12th through the 28th.
Would you like to see more Cruisin' New England television? Now you can watch Cruisin' New England every day on our website television show. See past episodes featuring premier automobile collections, memorabilia, automobilia, and car shows. You'll see our visit with Charles Gould and his Matchbox Motors Microcar Museum, the Chevy Guy, John Broden's car collection and automobilia, and a whole lot more. Join us on our website television show at cruisingnewengland.com.
Don't miss the Amherst Outdoor Antique Auto Show and Flea Market, Amherst, New Hampshire. The last Sunday of the month, April through October. Over 500 spots. Gates open at 6 a.m. with free admission.
We're back and we're at the Cadillac LaSalle Club Grand National Meet. Who are we going to meet now?
Well, I'd like to introduce you to Tom Koch from Killingworth, Connecticut.
Tom, pleasure meeting you. You bought a beautiful vehicle here today with you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your car?
Well, this car was found in a barn. We opened the door. There's this 1929 Cadillac that's been put in there since 1946, which he mopped down with gear oil to keep it, preserve it over the years. I took the car apart, and it's been, 5 years of doing it all. It's a very special car. It had everything on it that you see here was there, and all I did was go re-chrome things, repaint it, and when we get into the insides of the car, all the broad lacing is still all original. And it's a very hard thing to find, and I dry cleaned it when we put it back together. And it's got so many unique features to it, because most desirable cars are naturally open cars, but the most luxurious cars are closed cars, with all their specialties.
So tell us about the unique features of the car.
Okay, well, it's first of all, it has a very unique nose piece, which is called the Herald, but it has a cigarette lighter inside there, which on a great big long cord, which goes to the back of the people in the back that are smoking at the time. It has a heater by Cadillac, which was very unique at that time, because that year, I think 1929 was the first year they ever put a heater in a car. I took the engine apart when I was doing the car over, and it only has 27,000 miles on it. And I did the engine over, took it apart, mic'd it up, and put it back together again. That's all it was.
Now, is this a color that you would have seen back in 1929?
These are exact colors that the car was. It was the top part, the green part is called pewter pot, blue, gray, and black. If you probably looked in this whole show today, it's the only car here with 3 tones.
I love your car, and I want to thank you for sharing it with me.
Thank you, Paul, very much.
Chris, you ready to rock here?
Sure are. Let's go. Paul, next I'd like you to meet Paul Tassoni from Swampscott, Mass.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, sir.
What a beautiful 47 Cadillac Convertible.
Thank you.
And it always looked like this?
No, it didn't. I bought it back in 1986 in California. It was originally Belden blue, which is a correct blue for the year, but it wasn't for the trim tag. So I had it all stripped down to bare metal and painted it its correct color, which is Sen blue. And we pretty much went through the whole thing from frame up. Bumpers went out, all the chrome went out. Pretty much went through the whole thing. Mechanics, electrical, new wire harness. So it's in good shape now.
Well, when I look at the car, it looks like a bone stock Cadillac other than the color.
Yes, yeah, it's pretty much, most of the stuff is original except it's been redone, the chrome and whatnot. All the dashes, dash instruments are original, those have been redone, restored. So most of it is original parts, but done over them. Pretty them up a little bit.
It's a gorgeous car. It's got those beautiful white walls in it. Tell us a little bit about your interior, because it is beautiful.
The interior is, it was originally, when I bought it, vinyl, which is incorrect. So I had a company in South Carolina make me up a kit. And we redid the interior in the correct leather and combination leather and Bedford cord material. And it was shipped up here from South Carolina, and I had my upholsterer install it.
Oh, he did a wonderful job, I'll tell you that.
Thank you.
What about under the hood?
It's a flat 8-cylinder flathead. It's the old flathead engines that they used for many years. As a matter of fact, they used these engines in World War II in the tanks. They took 2 of them and put 2 of them together and put them in the tanks for the war.
Sturdy motor.
Yes.
Sturdy motor.
Yes.
This is a beautiful automobile, and I want to thank you for sharing it with my viewers here today.
Much.
When we come back, a lot more Cruisin' New England right here in Boston, Massachusetts at the Cadillac LaSalle Grand National Meet. Welcome to the Town Fair Tire Recognition Award Series. Each week we're going to be giving away an award to recognize a classic car owner throughout New England. I'm here with Jim Giuliano. He's the Vice President of Marketing and Advertising for Town Fair Tire.
Paul, Town Fair Tire is a proud sponsor of the Recognition Award Series. At the end of the series, we're going to have a Town Fair Tire Choice Award winner for the $500 gift certificate.
It's going to be very exciting. Jim, I want to introduce you to Sid Page, and this is his 1965 Chevy Impala.
Sid, tell us about your car.
It's a 283 Power Glide. It's a great cruising car, slightly modified under the hood.
It's really awesome looking. On behalf of Town Fair Tire, I'd like to present you with the award and your gift certificate.
Thank you.
Get to Town Fair Tire. You always get free mounting, free flat repair, free tire rotation, free snow tire changeover. Drive with confidence. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Town Fair Tire.
We're back here in Boston, Massachusetts at the Cadillac LaSalle Club Grand National Meet. Chris, who are we going to meet now?
Now we have Stephen Lakowitz from South Hadley, Mass.
Hi, Stephen. Nice to meet you.
Paul, nice to meet you.
You know, when you talk about the 50s, you got to talk about the fins. Let's talk about this beautiful car.
Well, it's a 58 extended deck sedan. The extended deck had a trunk that was extended 8.5 inches over standard. We completely restored it. The only part on the car not restored is the rear differential. It's a repaint, but original color. Interior has been recovered, but with original material. And the dash pad is still the original dash pad. We bought the car from the niece of the original owner, and the car had sat in the garage for 30 years. When we found it, the frame had 90% of the original undercoat was still under there, so it was in nice shape.
Now, what about the motor? Tell us about the motor.
It's a Cadillac 365. It's a 310 horse. It was their base motor for the year. You know, it's got a single Rochester 4-barrel carburetor.
So what do people say to you when they see those big fins?
But people just love to see them. I have a T-shirt that says "Let the fin begin," and that's pretty much what it's about. This is like understated elegance. It's this was, you know, the luxury car of its day.
Well, thanks for sharing it with us here today.
Paul, nice to see you.
Chris, you got any more fins for us?
Sure do. Let's go. Paul, let me now introduce you to Danny Plotkin from Longmeadow, Mass.
Nice to meet you, Danny.
Pleasure.
This is a beautiful automobile.
Thank you.
Tell me what you got.
This is a 1956 Cadillac Fleetwood 60 Special, which is the largest and most expensive Cadillac you would buy that you intended to drive yourself. The next step up would be a Fleetwood 75, which would be chauffeur driven. The fins on this car, which began in 1948, were Bill Mitchell's idea that he got from looking at a P-51 Mustang. So the first fin appeared in 48, and then they got progressively larger.
Now this color, now, was that an original color back then?
It was. This is called Dawn Gray, and the roof is Starlight Silver Metallic, which was an Eldorado color that you could have at extra cost.
Let's talk about the motor. What do you have under the hood?
It's a 365 cubic inch Cadillac overhead valve V8, basically the same V8 that came out in 1949, the second iteration of that engine, and the first iteration of the what is known as the Jetaway transmission, the improved 4-speed hydromatic.
Now this is a 4-door, so it must have a very comfortable interior.
It has a very comfortable interior, and it also has a 133-inch wheelbase, so it's a longer car than a standard Cadillac. The ride is beautiful.
It's a sharp car.
Thanks
for sharing it with my
pleasure.
viewers.
My pleasure.
Chris, I'm ready to look at some more fins. You ready to go?
Let's go.
Okay.
Chris, I haven't seen so many fins since I've been at the Boston Aquarium.
Well, I have another set for you, Paul. I'd like you to meet Brian Holmes from Medford, Mass.
Hi, Brian.
Hi, how are you?
Beautiful automobile.
It's 61 Ville Convertible. I've had this car since probably 1980, and I've done basically almost a ground-up restoration on it. I did new top, did a lot of work myself. I sent it out and had mechanical work done. It took about 8 years. Had the upholstery done by my local upholsterer.
So now we're talking about a car that was brought back to close to original condition?
Yes. Yes.
Now what about the color? Is that
that is an Eldorado color that was available for extra cost.
Okay,
yes.
so you could get that on any
Shell
car you
pearl,
wanted.
yes.
It's a beautiful automobile.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for sharing it with us today.
Thank you.
Paul, I'd now like you to meet Peter Pineros from Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
All the way from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. You know, when you think of fins, you have to think of the 1959 Cadillac Convertible, which to me is one of the top 5 classic automobiles ever made. And this is a great example of that. Tell us about the vehicle. What does it have under the hood?
345 cubic inch, 325 horsepower.
Is that an original interior?
It was the original, yes, when it was ordered with the red and white, and then the steering wheel is white and red, so they coordinate the steering wheel with the upholstery.
Now the paint, this was an original paint color back then, a red. Is this the original paint, or was it redone?
It was redone. The original car was Seminole red, which had a little orange in it.
Now, when you decided you were going to buy a Cadillac like this, were you specifically looking for a 59 convertible?
Absolutely. That's the only thing I wanted.
Well, they're not easy to come by. They're very rare.
The fun was in the hunt.
Now, when you found it, did it look like this?
Pretty much so.
You know, and I do believe that this is one of the best automobiles ever made. And, you know, you see it in motion pictures, you see it everywhere. It's a beautiful automobile. Thanks for sharing it with us here today.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
When we come back, folks, a lot more Cruisin' New England right here in Boston, Massachusetts at the Cadillac LaSalle Club's Grand National Meet.
Hi, my name is Neil Murley, Murley's Car Care Center. We are Southern New England's Sunoco race fuel dealer. Save on Sunoco race fuel right off Route 3 in Weymouth Heights. And good luck on the track.
These are the faces of childhood food allergies. To these kids, it's not about the inconvenience of restricting peanut products and other food allergens at school or at camp. To more than 6 million of our precious children, it can be a matter of life and death. Help us keep all of our children safe. Learn to recognize allergic reactions. Know the facts about food allergies.
Visit the Wood Museum of Springfield History in Springfield, Mass., home of the world's largest Indian motorcycle collection, and Springfield-built cars, like Rolls-Royce and the Duryea. Check out Cruisin' New England Productions' website. You'll see updated information about our fun car show series, including the Magical Mystery Cruise, the Circle of Champions, the Super Wheel Showdown, and the Spooktacular Cruisin' Classic. Also subscribe to Cruisin' New England magazine. We feature some of the hottest rides in the Northeast, along with event listings and a whole lot more. Don't miss a single issue. And if you want more information about sponsorships, advertising, or personal appearances by Paul Manette, email us at cruisenewengland@aol.com.
In the market for new tires? There's only one place to go, Town Fair Tire. We beat anyone, any day. Online prices? We beat them. Wholesale clubs? Other tire dealers? We beat them. No matter what the brand or the size, Town Fair Tire will beat any price, any day. And you always get all these services free. That's why nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody!
Name brands at discount prices. Town Fair Tire.
We're back at the Grand National Meet, and a big part of this show is the LaSalle.
And I have for you a great LaSalle and a great LaSalle owner, George Sweezy from Mansfield, Mass.
Hi, Paul.
George, how are you today?
Fine, nice to meet you.
This is a beautiful 1939.
Thank you very much. We restored it in 1999. And LaSalle, as you know, was Cadillac's companion car. It was started in 1927, and the last year they made it was 1940. It was the first car designed by stylists as opposed to engineers. It was Harley Earl's baby. And if you notice, the 39 LaSalle looks much more modern than a comparative 39 Cadillac because LaSalle always got the styling first.
Let's talk about the body style.
This is a four-door sedan, body style 5019. It's 3-speed transmission on the column, first year for the 3-speed. It's got grille guard. It's got a 320 cubic inch engine, 120 horsepower, flathead V8 by Cadillac.
Tell me about the interior.
The interior, if you notice the dashboard, it looks like it's wood, but it's not. It's actually steel, but it's painted to look like wood. If it was the first year for plastic, it was called Bakelite. So I have plastic knobs, I have a plastic steering wheel, which has all been restored, had to be recast. The interior is an original LaSalle material that was available. It's restored to the way it would have been when it came off the factory floor, with the exception of the color. This color was available in 1939, so we wanted something different, so we chose oxblood maroon iridescent, which looks really, really nice when the sun hits it.
You did a great job preserving
history. Thank you very much. My pleasure. Thank you very much.
We'll get a couple more LaSalles?
We will. We have some to see.
All right, let's go.
Let's go. Paul, I'd like to introduce you to another LaSalle owner, Steve Goodman from Canton, Massachusetts.
Nice to meet you, Steve.
Nice to meet you.
This is a beautiful looking automobile.
Well, thank you. I'm very flattered.
With me.
Yeah, I've had it, bought it in 1979. I'm actually the third owner, but I was very intrigued by the car because this is body number 1. It was the first car off the line that year. And as you know, 1933 is a low production year, the height of the Depression, and I think they only made 157 convertibles, of which I believe only 9 exist today. So this is truly a rare car. And
well, number 1, what does that mean to a collector?
Yeah, no, it just makes it a little more unique. It's just yeah, it's the body's number 1 and the serial number on the engine is 20,085.
Now, when you did the restoration, did you bring it back to the original color or did you change it?
Quite honestly, I must confess, I'm going to get struck by lightning for this, but it was a green on green car. But these colors were GM colors. They were offered by the company.
And let's talk about the body style.
All right, this is a what they call a cabriolet convertible coupe, and it's a rumble seat coupe, 5-passenger.
Well, let's talk about the interior. It's a beautiful interior.
Yeah, all leather, and you know, you could probably put 3 people in there, but it's a little snug, especially with the gear shift. But it's all leather and restored to the original pattern, and we took it all apart and put it all back together again. All the instruments were restored. The clock even works.
Awesome. Now, how about the trunk in the back?
So that's a trunk that was actually offered by the factory. That's a Fleetwood trunk, and it does bolt on. You can take it off.
It's a beautiful car, and I'm going to tell you something. I love the color. I'm glad you got rid of the green.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing it. So, Chris, I guess you got one more LaSalle for me to see?
I sure do. I'll take you to it.
Let's go.
Paul, as promised, one more LaSalle for you. I'd like you to meet John Bertoloni from Sterling Heights, Michigan.
All the way from Michigan. Pleasure to meet you.
Over 700 miles.
Wow, that's quite a trip.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful 1936.
1936. Owned it 45 years. I've had it since I was 17. When I worked at a Ford dealer, I wanted to build a race car, so I built a race car. And about 34 years ago, I put it back started building it back to this way.
How do you ever keep a car for that long?
It's just,
that's a tough thing to do.
I had this longer than my wife.
Well, it's a 36. Tell us about the style, body style on it.
It's a 3-passenger coupe. It does have a jump seat in the back. They call them opera seats. It's got a radio. It's got a heater. It's got the trip lights. That's the only options you get.
You know, it's pretty easy. Well, I shouldn't say easy, but it is a lot easier to go from a stock car to a race car. You went from a race car to bring it back to stock. That was quite a jump.
I always cut in my mind not to, cut up stuff. I drilled holes. I welded all the holes back up. The engine sat in my mother's garage. This engine is number 9 back in it. It's a straight 8. It's 105 horse, you know. It's got, it says LaSalle on the head.
Tell us a little bit about your interior.
It's a broadcloth, you know, and it's got mohair, you know. Carpet's supposed to be mohair.
Well, you did a great job. I can't believe it went from stock to race, back to stock again. Thanks for sharing the vehicle with us here today.
All right, thank you.
I want to thank Chris for a great day here in Boston, Massachusetts. Saw a beautiful array of LaSalles and Cadillacs. I'm Paul Minette. Until next time, I'll be cruising New England.